Hi everybody, the Cauvery water dispute has been one of the longest disputes in the history of India. This is the water dispute between Karnataka and Tamil Nadu which has been going on since 1974.
Showdown over Cauvery river water sharing escalates between southern states Karnataka and Tamil Nadu.
The protesters are raising their voice against the Supreme Court's order to release more Cauvery river water to neighbouring Tamil Nadu.
Yes, you heard that right. Two giant states of India have been fighting over water since the past 49 years. While the farmers of Karnataka have been grappling with water shortages, the politicians have used this dispute very well to please the people and get votes.
It is shocking to us. There is no water, how to bring water, how to release water. It is very difficult.
Karnataka is not the owner of Cauvery. That is the international understanding. Nobody can claim that this river is mine.
While the citizens of Karnataka face water shortages on a daily basis, the protesters had come down to the streets to shut down the entire state of Karnataka.
For Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, Cauvery water war is still escalating, boiling over in fact, because in Karnataka protests have broken out while Tamil Nadu is waiting for the water to be released.
And lastly, while the farmers of Karnataka are losing thousands of crores in crop yield, the water crisis in Karnataka is getting worse with each passing year.
In very future, the Bangalore will be run out of water, and then if anything, this city is going to get collapsed. It will be because of the water itself.
Fed up of the water shortage in his village, a first-year pre-university student, Srajan Pujari from Naila village in Mangalore, took it upon himself to dig a well in his courtyard.
And while most people might consider this to be yet another conflict, I must tell you that this dispute points towards an emerging crisis that is soon going to cause a catastrophe in India. And just like any other crisis, this crisis also points towards a business opportunity that very few people will notice. So the question is, what exactly is the conflict between these two states? Why is it so significant? Why has it not been resolved even after 45 years? What is the catastrophe that this crisis is pointing at? And most importantly, as students of business, what kind of business opportunity can this crisis present to the entrepreneurs of India? But before we move on, let me quickly thank our partners Fellow for supporting our content. Fellow is India's first game-based savings app. Now most of us think and research about where to invest, but we hardly think about maximizing our savings. But what if there was an app that could take care of it while you can focus on other things? While most apps make you spend money, Fellow helps you inculcate the habit of savings. The best part is that Fellow not only helps you in savings, but you can also earn returns up to 12% on your savings. Because they have partnered with Lendbox, which is RBI certified and offers P2P assets that will give you returns ranging from 8 to 12%. And they also have digital gold investments which you can explore. So all you have to do is click on Save Now, select the asset of 12% return and put your savings amount here. I will leave the link to it in the description. And if you invest more than 500 rupees, you have a chance to win assured rewards weekly along with high returns. There are also mega rewards such as iPhone, a Thar and even 1 crore rupees. Isn't Fellow making savings really fun and rewarding? So if you love the idea, download the app from the link in the description. And don't forget to read all the documents before you invest. To understand the dispute between Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, we first need to do a short crash course on India's geography. People, the Cauvery river is one of the most important rivers in India and it is often called as the Ganga of the South. It flows through Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Pondicherry. And while the rivers in the north come from glaciers, the Cauvery depends on rains. This river has a total water carrying capacity of 740 TMC or 1000 million cubic feet. And out of this rainfall, Karnataka contributes 425 TMC feet and Tamil Nadu contributes only 252 TMC feet in rainfall. But you know what guys? If you look at how much water is received by Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, it is the complete opposite. While Karnataka only gets 284.75 TMC, Tamil Nadu gets 404.25 TMC and Kerala and Pondicherry get 30 and 7 TMC respectively. So the question is, when Karnataka's rainfall contributes more to the river, then why is it that Karnataka is getting such low quantities of water? Well, as it turns out, this problem was created by the Britishers. So back in the 1800s and 1900s, Karnataka was the Mysore Kingdom and Tamil Nadu was the Madras Presidency. And while Mysore was a princely state, Madras was directly under the British rule. So in 1910, Mysore proposed constructing a dam on the Cauvery river, and around the same time, even Madras proposed an irrigation project on the same river. This is when Madras opposed the construction of the dam because if the dam blocks the river, their irrigation projects would get less water. So this matter was taken to the British Indian government, and since the Britishers had direct control of the Madras presidency, they signed an agreement in 1924 which said that for the next 50 years till 1974, Tamil Nadu and Puducherry would receive 75% of the Cauvery water allocation and only 23% would be allocated to Mysore, and the remainder would flow into Kerala, which was back then known as Travancore. So the Brits favoured Madras because it was their territory. And this 1924 agreement finally expired in 1974. But during this time of 50 years, Tamil Nadu used Cauvery to cultivate 25.8 lakh acres of land, and the economy of Tamil Nadu got so dependent on the water supply that it became impossible to suddenly decrease the water supply to Tamil Nadu. And today, 9 Cauvery basin districts in Tamil Nadu account for more than 1/3 of Tamil Nadu's net sown area. So if the water supply is suddenly cut off, it will lead to 3 major problems in Tamil Nadu. Number 1, it will suddenly reduce the crop yields. Number 2, it will lead to huge financial and job losses to the farmers and the state. And together, both these problems could escalate farmer debt or even farmer suicides. This is the first reason for the problem, which is the British government agreement and the dependency of Tamil Nadu on Cauvery water. The second problem is the irregularity of rainfall. Now, if you look at this chart, you will see that in 1993, the rainfall in the lower basin was 1502 mm. And in August 2002, it went down to as low as 241 mm. That's over 6 times reduction in rainfall. Similarly, in the upper basin, it varied by 30% from 2522 mm in 1992 to 1782 mm in 1996. So every time there is less rainfall, the Cauvery dispute escalates to the next level, and this is not a new thing at all.
The Cauvery River water dispute has taken an ugly turn as protesters in Karnataka's Mandya district vandalized the PWD office and raised slogans against Tamil Nadu Chief Minister J. Jayalalitha on Tuesday.
This intense battle is being waged for the waters of the river Cauvery, the focal point of a long-standing water dispute that dates back to over 150 years.
But you know what, guys? There is a much bigger problem over here. You see, with the development of industries and agriculture, the demand for water has shot up so much that even in a normal year with 740 TMC of water available, it is not enough to meet the demands of both Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. If you see this data, the demand of all 4 states combined is 1150 TMC, with Tamil Nadu needing 566 TMC, Karnataka needs 465 TMC, Kerala needs 99.8 and Pondicherry needs 9.3 TMC. So even if Cauvery is used only for Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, we would need 566 plus 465 TMC of water, which is 1031 TMC of water. But what we have is only 740 TMC even in a good season. So even if you divide the water 50-50 between Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, it still wouldn't be enough. So the question is, why is the demand for water shooting up so high? Well, this is where we have the agricultural practices of Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. If you look at Karnataka, its most widely cultivated crops are sugarcane and rice, and in Tamil Nadu it is rice. Both these crops require a large quantity of water to grow. According to the Water Footprint Network, it takes 3,400 liters of water to produce 1 kg of rice and 1,500 liters of water to produce 1 kg of sugar. In the Indian context, these crops may require even more water, which is up to 5,000 liters for rice and 2,500 liters for sugar. And you know what, guys? 70% of Karnataka's fresh water, I repeat, 70% of Karnataka's fresh water is just used for producing rice. And on top of that, Karnataka is also the 3rd largest producer of sugarcane in the country. So with less supply of water, Karnataka and its farmers will suffer very heavy losses. So in short, while Tamil Nadu got over-dependent on Cauvery because of the Brits, Karnataka now needs more water from Cauvery to keep up with its agricultural production. And since it contributes more to the river water, Karnataka is demanding more water for itself as compared to Tamil Nadu. These are the root causes of the Cauvery dispute, which are the British agreement, dependency of Tamil Nadu, skyrocketing demand and the agricultural practices of both states. If this is very clear to you, let's come to the 2023 matter. As usual in 2023, things got worse because 2023 has been a distressed water year for Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. The rainfall has been so less that 4 reservoirs in Cauvery basin were at half their storage levels as of September 2023. So in spite of having a storage capacity of 104.5 TMC, they only have 51.1 TMC of water in these reservoirs. According to Karnataka government, the state will need a total of 112 TMC of water. And this means Karnataka is going to have a hard time this year because of water shortage. This is the reason why the situation got aggravated this year. Now again, some people over here might ask, why is a business channel like thinkschool covering a so-called socio-political conflict like Cauvery? Well, guess what? As usual, the reason why we are covering this is because it has wide-scale economic impact, and more importantly, there is a massive business opportunity in this crisis. So let's dive into it. Firstly, the water problem is not a new thing at all, and it will just keep on getting worse with each passing year. Between 2020 to 2015, some of the districts in the basin will see a 20% decline in rainfall, and others will see anywhere between 0 to 10% decline in rainfall. And to add to all of this, there is also the groundwater situation, which is getting worse because of over-exploitation due to agriculture.
Over 50% of villages in the rural areas of the state are facing severe water shortage. The villagers are battling with thirst.
Crisis, or what they call as if now, today the looming problem which is going to come, that will almost force almost everyone or every house to take up measures like rainwater harvesting and water conservation measures.
This is the reason why even during normal times, farmers lose anywhere between 1,000 to 2,500 crores each year due to this dispute and the water not being released on time. And lastly, this dispute results into protests and bandh, which then spoils the image of Bangalore as a tech hub and Silicon Valley for foreign companies and investors. And you would be shocked to know that the current bandh has already caused a loss of 4,000 crores. So long story short, we just do not have enough water to cater to both states. And even if we divide the water 50-50, this problem cannot be solved. And within some time, with such high demand, Cauvery cannot suffice the demand after a certain point. So the question over here is, what is the Indian government doing to fix this? Well, this is where the business opportunity comes in. Now you tell me, if the crops consume most of the water, if crops are depleting the groundwater, and if rainfall variance causes major losses, what do you need? You need a miracle crop which can consume less water, which is resistant to the variance in rainfall, and a crop that does not deplete the groundwater levels. And most importantly, it should be able to replace rice in the market. And if you are a thinkschool student, you know which crop I am talking about. For those who don't know, it's none other than millets. Millets are such miraculous crops that they are rich in nutrients, and yet they need so much less water that it will blow your mind. Millets need 4 times less water than rice, 2 times less water than wheat, and 5 times less water as compared to sugarcane. And the best part is that they are also drought resistant. They don't need fertilizers and they do not pollute the groundwater. And the fun fact is that millets are in such high demand that currently less than 10% of the millet demand is being fulfilled. This is the reason why the Karnataka government has taken some big steps to increase millet production in Karnataka. Firstly, they included millets under the public distribution system in 2015. They have recently started giving out incentives of 10,000 rupees per hectare under the Millets Mission for Farmers. So in short, as water shortages become more and more frequent, it will give rise to the millet revolution in India. This is the reason why, as an investor and as an entrepreneur, you got to keep an eye on the government policies of Karnataka and how the farmers of Karnataka are adopting millets, so that if you plan to invest in a farm or if you own a farm already, you can become a beneficiary of the millet revolution in Karnataka. And as this problem of water crisis becomes more and more critical, millets will become more and more important to the Indian market and the Indian agricultural sector. And this brings us to the second solution, which again has a huge business opportunity. And this opportunity lies in the water efficiency business. As time passes, if you're an entrepreneur who supplies, manufactures, or designs water saving instruments, in the next 20 years, you have a huge potential to scale across India. This is where we have something called the SRI, or System of Rise Intensification. When this method was implemented in Tirchi, not only the water requirement reduced from 25 to 50%, but the yield also increased for rice from 40 to 45 bags per acre to 60 bags per acre using SRI. In very simple words, this means more crop yield with less water at no extra cost at all. This method has already been implemented in Indian states like Telangana and Maharashtra with amazing results. Secondly, there is also another method called the direct seeding of rice or DSR. And this method again saves up to 15 to 20% of water, labor cost is less and the yield is high. And then obviously you have drip irrigation and sprinkler system, which again save up to 30 to 40% of water usage and increase the yield by 133%. So water conservation business has a huge potential to scale in the next 5 to 10 years as the problem of water crisis becomes more and more critical in India. This is the history, problem and the opportunity in the Cauvery dispute story. And now you may have a look at all the study materials to understand this matter better. That's all from my side for today, guys. If you learned something valuable, please make sure to hit the like button in order to make YouTube Baba happy. And for more such insightful business and political case studies, please subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.